Good morning, my friends. How are you today? Well, I'm back again. This is Shirley's Library, and today is the day that I tell you about the self-development books that I am reading or have reading from my library. So today, last week, I talked about my Smile account, and that was really popular. Everyone seemed to love the Smile account. So today what I want to talk to you about is another concept which I'm really keen on, called your future self. Now, I first came across this done really well with a lady called Tonya Lee. Now, Tonya is they call her a life coach, and the reason I follow Tonya and I'm in her membership is because she covers so many areas. She covers your thinking, which drives your behavior. She covers your environment, your style, your business. She's got a huge body of work. So when you become a member, you've got so many courses to access online. It's brilliant. But she was the first one that really got me in depth thinking about your future self. Now, there's two ways that you can set goals and achieve goals. The first way is by setting the goal and making a list of all the things that you have to do in order to achieve that goal. That's the traditional way. I like the other way, which is more about self-development. So you set your goal and then you write down all the things, the kind of person you have to be in order to achieve that goal, and then you work on becoming that person. So I've been doing this for quite a few years, but I had never thought about it in respect of becoming your future self. So what Tonya gets you to do is to think about, if your future self had achieved everything that you want to achieve in your life, what kind of person would she be? Okay, and it goes so much wider. First of all, what kind of person would she be? What would her characteristics be? But more importantly, what would her environment be? If you had already achieved, let's say you want to lose some weight. If you had already achieved losing that weight, look around your environment at the books you have. Would you have books on losing weight? Would you have diet books? Hey, Anamika. Would you have diet books? What kind of books would she have? What's her environment? What would she not tolerate that you're putting up with? So you start to think a lot more. What wouldn't she have in her wardrobe? The very first time I went through this, the concept, what clothes would she wear? She wouldn't wear anything that was too tight. She wouldn't have anything sitting in there waiting for her to slim down into it. She wouldn't have anything that made her uncomfortable. The first time I did a cull of my wardrobe with my future self in mind, I must have sent about a third of my clothes to the charity shop. And some things I just chucked out. Things like that you bought cheap, you like the colour, but you just don't really feel good in it. So it's your environment. It's how you think. It's the kind of characteristics your future self would have. And then you start to step into her. You start to practice becoming your future self. She would be kind, she would be listening to what people say, she would be calm. In my case, she would be patient. So that was my first introduction to the idea of the future self, which I absolutely love. And of course, I found a book which takes this even further. So here's the book. I don't know how to flip this around so you can read it. Be Your Future Self Now, by Dr. Benjamin Hardy, and he bases it in science. So it's the science of intentional transformation. And his book isn't sciencey, it's great to read. Let me tell you a few of the chapters. Urgent battles and small goals keep you stuck. Future self-threats. Your future drives your present, and you really think about that. If you are thinking about your future self, then you step into your future self, you'll make different decisions. You'll think differently. Your future self is the Pied Piper. It draws you to it. Failing as your future self is better than succeeding as your current self, because to actually achieve what you want, you've got to grow and develop. So so that's the reason of that. Success is achieved by being true to your future self. Eliminate lesser goals. And there's just so much more in the book. It's a great book. It's really easy to read. And as you can see, you go through, I highlight, when I'm going to keep a book, I highlight stuff, and some of my books are really solid highlighting because there's so much good stuff in here. So that's my book for today. Be Your Future Self Now. And whether you get the book or not, the concept is great to be working with. It's really worth your while to spend a little bit of time and think, if my future self had achieved everything that I want to achieve, what would her body language be like? Most importantly, how would she think? What are her characteristics? Okay. And, once you get that really clear in your mind, you can then very consciously start to step into that concept of my future self. So that's my concept for today from Shirley's Library. Also, just to let you know that this afternoon I run a free webinar for people in business. So if you know anyone in business wants to grow their business, it's a free webinar. I will put the link in the comment section under this. But if you've got a self-development book that you love, please tell me what it is. I'm always looking for more good books to read. Bit of an addiction of mine. And let me know. And if you think these are fun and useful, then please share them and let's spread the word of some great self-development. So that's Shirley. That's the book this week from my library. I shall see you tomorrow. I do from my business library is the best business book. And other than that, I shall see you next week from Shirley's Library.